so I won't go into it in too much detail. But certainly make sure that you are aware of the limitations of your copyright agreements with the content that you are either acquiring or licensing. It's really important that there are some differences often between digital rights and paper rights, so it's important to be aware of those and to ensure that your eLibrary is respecting those copyright limitations. So you may be limited by how you can distribute documents because of those limitations in your copyright agreements. So we're going to get into a little bit of a demo. Unfortunately, I really wish I could show this to you live, but because of the number of us on today and the bandwidth restrictions with the tool that we're using to do the webinar, it doesn't really translate nicely into showing you the user experience. There's a bit of a lag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through some screenshots and just give you a bit of a high-level overview. This is a demo that we put together to showcase an eLibrary. And I'm going to make available the URL at the end of the session today so that you're able to copy that and to go at your own leisure and go through this user experience and this demo yourselves. We are also very happy if you would like to have a bit of a guided tour of this, to work with our team here to give you that. So please, if you are interested in that, just let Nadine know by chat or send us an email or give us a call after the session. Our full contact information will be on the slides at the end. So this particular demo is something that we've created to showcase an eLibrary. It's full of medical content that we've been able to use. And you'll see here that right from the beginning of the demo that we're setting the expectation for the user as to what the process is that they're going to go through. So we're saying, you know, when you come to the eLibrary, what the process is you're going to search for the information you're looking for. You can view results, and there's two different formats you can view results in. Then you can actually view your full documents. And by providing a quick snapshot and then providing a very clear action, what we're able to say is you can start this process now. So when we go to the next slide, you'll see this is an example of the eLibrary. And in this particular case, with the type of content we have, it's not necessarily very visual, but you could imagine that if you do have an inventory of content that is, you know, images or it's magazines with very nice covers, that the thumbnail view would be great for that, because you could add a snap, kind of go, that's the issue that I'm interested in, and click on that to view the document. So when you get started with the eLibrary, there's a search functionality, and you can see here there's very limited search functionality for this eLibrary. With the eLibrary, the search is determined by the content. So if there's a requirement for different types of search, I know some people have asked for things like Boolean search or proximity search or more detailed search capabilities, that is fully customizable in terms of the requirements. There's also the ability to hide some of the lesser used search criteria in another panel so that it's not overwhelming for the user, but it does provide the functionality that some of those productivity users that we talked about earlier may want to dig into a little more. You'll see here that, you know, simple things like keyword search suggestions are already part of the eLibrary. So if I start to type the word health, it'll suggest other terms that appear in some of the documents within the eLibrary. And you know, this is a relatively small collection just for demo purposes, but this is a fully scalable solution that allows users to populate, you know, hundreds of thousands of documents and to make those available to users through this type of interface. Then you'll take a look here. You'll see that you can scale the size of the thumbnail. So if you want to see larger images to get a little bit more detail about the content, you can also switch to a list view if you want more of a traditional, you know, library card type view of your content. And you'll see there's a full abstract for each of the entries, and then you can go and actually click on the document and see the full document on screen. We were talking earlier about integrated viewers for documents. This is an example of how you don't take the user out of the experience. This is actually a PDF document that's being shown, but I'm not forcing the user to open a browser and to use Acrobat Reader in order to look at that content. So this is the way that it keeps the process very simple and very low barrier to entry. Okay, so, and as I mentioned, we will give you that URL for the demo at the end of the session. So now that we've gotten all the requirements from a user perspective and from a content perspective and the access set, it's down to choosing technology. So we've shown you one demo of a solution, but really for your organization, the question will be, what makes the most sense for you? So there's several different ways that you can approach technology for an eLibrary solution. You can go with a package solution where you have a pre-built eLibrary and you simply add your content and it's ready to roll. Then there's the option of going with more of a custom solution where you may sit down with a consultant and a group of developers, whether in-house or external, and to build something that meets your specific requirements. And then there's the hybrid route, which you may take elements of a package solution and elements of a customized solution and combine them together. And what's interesting about that is that can really collapse the development cycle by getting you to market with something sooner and allowing you to have some of that customization that makes it truly yours. So there's 3 different ways you can go about it, and the best choice really depends on the philosophy for your organization. So are you an organization that tends to buy or build? And also, what's your budget? What's your timeline? And what's your fit in your ecosystem that you need to fit the solution into? Those will all help to make those decisions for you. The other factor to look at is whether you're best suited with a hosted solution, something that's completely turnkey where you don't need to involve your IT team, and you simply put your resources online and make them available, or whether an in-house solution would make more sense for you. If you've got a really robust team with great skills and availability, then it makes more sense for you to build something in-house for your eLibrary. Regardless of which technology path you choose, certainly some recommendations. We've talked about using lowest barrier to entry. So looking at industry standard software is really key. So if you are going to use and leverage any components, that you look at what is standard in the market. This will reduce your support and maintenance issues greatly. And really, we'd recommend that you avoid the all-in-one solutions that kind of force you to take your entire business process offline and replace it with other tools and technology in order to roll out your eLibrary. And I will just put a word of caution out there. If you are planning to use third-party tools, that you'll really want to make sure you check the license restrictions for distribution on those tools. For example, something like PDF, although PDF is an ISO standard and it's an open source format, the tools to distribute for users to be able to open PDFs, there may be some limitations on being able to push those out with your application. Things to keep in mind if you're looking at paths for technology. And I would really highly recommend that you walk through the what-if scenarios with your eLibrary. So design some user profiles of the people who are going to be interacting with your eLibrary, and then walk through doing specific tasks. And that will help you understand what the requirements are and the needs are. For maintenance and for ongoing use, you'll look at those skills of your users. And the one thing I will highly stress in recommendations around choosing technology is if you are responsible for building the business case for your eLibrary, think in advance about what metrics and what data is going to be important to show your success. So think about the reports that you'll need and the information that you'll need in order to justify the return on the investment. That way, if you decide to roll out new features for the next version, that you have the data collected and you have the business case to show the improvements in the process. We saw a quick demo of INM eLibrary, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of information about that option. INM eLibrary is a prepackaged solution, so it's a combination of a packaged software and a customized solution. It's got elements that can be fully branded and fully customized to your organization's processes and requirements, but there's core elements that are already developed and built, so it helps you combine the best of both worlds. So it's kind of in the hybrid category. It comes in 2 flavors because there's certainly different needs for someone who has a corporate solution versus someone who has maybe a public or a institutional library, whether that happens to be a university or a college, etc. There's 2 flavors for those specific needs. And you know, the 2 flavors come with different front ends, but they certainly have the same core benefits. So they're quick to deploy, customizable interface, really strong search capabilities, and we can support multi-language support, which is something we often get asked as well. It has a fully customizable user interface. It's very modular in the sense that there are really powerful admin tools behind it for managing content and for indexing content and for reporting to show global usage statistics and user data. And it has a very detailed reporting module as well, which will help you give some insight as to what resources within your library are being used and accessed. Okay, so that's the end of the best practices information for today. I do just want to take a second to point out some next steps. So if you are interested in some more information about what we've talked about today, the next step for you would be to look at our white paper. This is available on our resource center, so you can copy that URL or visit our website at inm.com and then go to visit our resource center. As well, the demo that I had mentioned earlier, this is a self-guided tour of INM eLibrary that you can take, which is at reach.inm.com/eLibrary, and you can certainly also arrange a personal demo with us if you would like. Please feel free to contact us or to put a note in the chat window or send a private message to Nadine just to let her know that you're interested in that. And we also host a number of additional webinars. So if you are interested in learning more about rich internet applications, or perhaps actually if you're in the business of selling content, you may be interested in our rich e-commerce webinar. We've got an introductory webinar for that may be of interest to you. And certainly if you have any questions or if you want to discuss anything that was presented today, I would encourage you to give us a call. This is our phone number and our email, and I am happy to take personal questions after the fact. But we are going to have a Q&A session here today, so we will be switching to that in a second. So if you are joining us live, I would hold on for that one. I'm going to stop the recording.